Good morning, YouTube, from Robert Firestone in the flyover state of West Virginia. 11:07 a.m. 11/11/2020. I'm going to let y'all. It's a brief video, and it's talking about. I have to minimize this and look at this a little bit. Okay. It's talking about the most powerful man in the world. For if you was the most powerful man or woman in this world, because it's all to do with money. Always boils back to money. Okay, y'all, let's see. Need to get to here. Alright, I'm going to maximize the screen. This way, hopefully, I got to check it here in a second. I hope this goes. Alright, let me get you turned around. I hope there ain't no pops and cracks. I'm going to check the video first to make sure that it's showing up. Okay. Go back to this. Widescreen it. I can't do anything there. Alright, I'm going to go with this. If not, maybe the audio you will be able to hear.
Imagine that you were the most powerful man in the world. You had more money than anyone else. You could have anything you wanted and go anywhere you wanted, at any time, by any means. Because of the power that money gave you, you had greater influence over anyone else. You'd believe that you had an almost godlike right to make decisions about the direction that the world was going. You'd think that you could create a world that was perfect in your eyes. You'd see that the human population was out of control. You'd see that human beings are destroying the world. You would think that something had to be done, and you were the person to do it. How would you do it? Well, the first thing you'd do is you'd get together with other powerful people and hatch a plan. You'd need help from like-minded people like these so they could carry out your instructions in different parts of the world. Together with these people, you would create a group and you would see yourselves as elite and you'd view other people as beneath you and part of the problem. You'd need to control them in some way. But how do you control 7 billion people? You'd have to contain them in some way. You'd have to limit their movement. You would need to be able to control all the information that they get. But how? Well, you're the most powerful man in the world. You can do anything. If you use your money to control the TV, the internet, the newspapers, the media, you could make up a story that there's a deadly disease out there killing people by the millions, and that the only way they would be safe would be to lock themselves away in their house. You could back up these claims by paying scientists to repeat this story every night on the television.
Lie after lie.
You'd need to take away the ability for people to access money so they had no choice. So you'd stop them from working. You'd use the disease as an excuse and tell them that it'll be all okay in a few months and you'll help them. If you keep doing this long enough, everything would stop forever. All of those people would be completely powerless. If anyone tried to stand in your way, you would use your power over the TV and media to discredit them and make them look like a fool. You'd use your money and power to get rid of them. If the people wanted this person to fight for them, you'd make sure that their wish was denied, and you would replace them with somebody that you could control. You would then offer them a magic solution to the disease in the form of an injection that would protect them. People would line up to get this injection, and they'd get a certificate to prove that they'd had it. You would make sure that everybody had the injection by only allowing those with a certificate to leave the house. But carrying a certificate around is inconvenient. So You'd make a little microchip with all the information on it, and you could inject it just underneath the skin. That way, nobody would be able to forget. When you'd done this, you'd need to be able to feed them all. You'd scan them, and provided they have a chip, you'd give them a ration. And if they weren't chipped, they wouldn't get anything. If they refused it, you'd lock them away for causing trouble. You'd tell everyone that if they listened to you, you would show them a world that was far better than the one that they used to know. You'd wipe out history and tell everybody that what happened before you came along wasn't important anymore. You could knock down old things and start afresh with a clean sheet. You would use new technology and robots to do the work that people used to do. As people started to die off, you could decide who was allowed to breed and how many people you wanted. At that point, there would be no need for the God that people used to believe in, because you'd have replaced him with yourself. You really would have become the most powerful man in the world. My name is Jonathan Marshall. I'm not the most powerful man in the world. I'm just a person like you, but I can see the future.
Hello everyone, Charlie Ward has finally got a new website.
Sorry about the spinning of the camera, you all. Okay. Every lie and deceit that we're going through right now is in this man's message. Okay. The overpopulation of the world, like I've explained to y'all before. If there's three ways to be born, and one is it's the only way that I know of for sure, and that's birth. Okay. Having sex with the opposite sex 9 months later, birth of another human being. But at least unconsciously, without actually knowing or writing it down and trying to figure it out, I'm going to say there's at least 10,000 ways to die. So that's a lie. Okay. And then they run around and try to convince us as the human race we're destroying the atmosphere, we're destroying the world. Okay. I got one thing to say to y'all. Okay. Or ask of y'all to think about this. Do any of you all own spaceships, own mega oil refineries, mega coal mines, mega this, mega that, all the industrial race? Okay. I do believe most of us out here don't have any kind of control over the people that do own them. They take something that's good for you, turn it around and tell you that it's bad for you, then come up with junk science, bullshit science, then try to convince you all, which it don't have to convince the whole population, but as long as it convinces enough to where we're constantly beating our heads together, dividing us, not looking at the bigger picture, not looking at who the real enemy truly is. He went through and showed a bunch of people, and a lot of these people are totally against you, me, and the world. They want to be part of an elite club that George Carlin talked about, the big boy club, and we're not in it. These hints to things and I was talking about the music world. It applies in the newspaper world. It applies in movies. It applies in every little function of our lives. Now, this being 11:18 a.m., 11/11/2020, I make a prediction on this day and time at 11:18 a.m. Something, and I've been wrong before, so I'm not, like I said, I'm not God. I don't walk on water. I'm just making a prediction. I'm not making no prophecy. November 14th is when we're going to find out who the true president is, which we already know that it's Trump. But I believe it's going to be called on that day because of what I'm seeing geared up in the background and Trump getting rid of a lot of the deep state demonic little players, okay, from our government. Again, sweeping house, cleaning up. And these people, a lot of them that is on Trump's side, are finally come forward to also show the deep state who they're having to battle against. Okay, this when both ends of a military conflict, and this is what this is in a roundabout way. It's a war, and it is militaries, okay, and people of mighty power, okay. These people's going to start butting heads like y'all would not believe. Okay. For all of y'all out there that's listening to this video today, 11/11/2020, please go forth if you can afford to do it. If you can't, try to get into maybe even buying copper. It's the cheapest, one of the cheapest metals out there, but it's rising too. So anywhere you put a tangible asset that will benefit you in the long run, because my understanding, forgive me picking my nose, my understanding, they're still going forward with this so-called Great Reset. The bankers and the 13 families. Okay. Or they was betting on Biden like it did on Hillary Rotten Clinton. Okay. They're going to fall short again. Because I do believe that Trump was put there. It wasn't just by us. It was by the will of the people and the will of God first, being first, to put us back in our rightful place here in this world, okay? A lot of people can't understand this because they've not took the time to find the spiritual side of them. They believe in their damn religion, okay? And the religion's lying to them. It's been proven, like I said, in one of the 4 hidden dynasties, and it was the one that holds the other 3 together and also helps manipulate the situation. Religion, not spirituality. When he gave his only begotten son, it gave us a pathway, okay, to no longer have to go forth and put our energies in these religious sects, I'm not quite saying it right, I know I'm not, cults. And the sad part of it is some of these preachers, not teachers, has bought into this hook, line, and sinker. A good red flag for all of y'all is ask your preacher or deacon, whatever little title he wants to put on himself as something that he's not, or it's not, as ask them if they believe in the 503c and see if your church is part of that 503c, 503c. And if so, pick up your Bible and leave that building, because they've already been committed to this plan, this global takeover, to when it breaks down, because I had a dream years back, and it wasn't long. Well, I had a dream. Sitting in church I was baptized at, it was a Pentecostal church, okay? Azusa Street Ministries in Roanoke, Virginia. A year or so, maybe 2 years after this, I had a dream about the same church. Well, the individual that got me tied into the church was a fellow named Raymond Harris. Okay. I seen him in this dream, and I seen the whole church was packed full of people. Then all of a sudden, we started hearing this. All of us started hearing this boom, 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 boom. There was people dressed completely in technical, or how you say it? They was dressed completely in black. Okay, tactical wear, bulletproof vest, the shoulder pad or the elbow pads. They was decked out. You couldn't see their face. They had goggles on. All of them carrying machine guns, running us from this church. Well, there was supposedly in the dream there was an underground tunnel that led us out of the church, that got us away from it. Okay, I believe that I was supposed to be bringing this dream to you all and everybody else faster than that I just did today. Okay, to me, it was showing me that the NWO, known as the New World Order or Deep State, was heavily involved in our religious practices more than we ever knew. The 50c3, they went to these preachers, okay, and was given a book and trained on how to pat us on the back when we started freaking out, to calm us down, and uh, it's the right thing to do. This is what God wanted us to do. No, it wasn't. Go read your Bible. Look at how many wars there was against God's people. Well, look who the victor went to. God's people. Okay? It didn't go to man. It didn't go to the New World Order or the Deep State. Okay? Like I said, our Bible has been corrupted and tried to be rewrote and manipulated in such ways, okay, for them to actually be able to be programmed and manipulated in their so-called higher education centers, okay, all of these so-called Bible colleges, okay, to make us believe what they're telling us is the truth, because it's the way it's written there. Brother Murray calls them one verse ribs, okay. They'll read something and make a whole storyline out of one verse, but they won't go no further down in the Bible or go back through the Bible, being it's a puzzle to be put together to show us what the outcome was or is, not what they're telling us they want us to believe. For if I am wrong, okay, I do believe that. For if I am wrong, I will have pure hell dumped on my head by shovels full of hot coals. I do believe that. So I'm not trying to give anybody any kind of religious undertones other than the word is, like I said, has been manipulated and polluted so much, but they never could actually take the full word of God out of the Bible. They tried. They tried so, just unbelievably tried. But I'm going to leave this one quick and short, and I'm going to see what I'm going through to tell y'all the story about YouTube. They took and gave me a copyright strike for two songs, a Twisted Sister song and an Ozzy Osbourne song. They never played the whole thing, but I wanted people to go look these songs up and look at the lyrics, read the lyrics, okay? But I went right back around them, re-recorded like I'm doing now, flipped the camera around on my recording, and it went out. So what does that mean? If I recopy the copyright, they didn't call me on it. Does that make any sense to y'all? Or did I call them on something that I'm right about? Okay? I'm pretty sure I'll probably have some people try to argue with me on this. Okay, they gave me a copyright strike to Dee Snider, Twisted Sister, we're not going to take it. Okay. Ozzy Osbourne, I think it was Black Rain is one I was trying to play. I think. I'd have to go back and look. But when I opened up the little bullshit to send them a message to ask them, what was going on, and I had a little description box, I was blunt as hell and was cussing them out. I wanted to know how they done this in 1 hour. Called Dee Snider and Ozzy Osbourne and asked them if it was okay for me, okay, to use their song when there's another 10,000 people on YouTube using their song, downloading their songs. I, like I said, sometimes this is one of the times I knew something and felt it and did not know why I knew and how I figured it out. It just come to me. They do not hold the copyrights to these songs. If this is the case, and I told them I would be getting in touch with Dee Snider and Ozzy Osbourne through the people that read their emails, and I would try to make it so wanting to read it that would somebody open it up and read it. And the main question was, I was going to ask them, how is it that their song and their copyright is owned by YouTube? It's not. That's bullshit. Okay? When you got 10,000 other people that's got the song in full detail, whole albums, okay? They're not connected to Ozzy. They're not connected to Dee Snider, but they're doing it. And I wanted to use it as a platform for my First Amendment right, because these songs allow me to project, okay, the way I feel it. Not just see it, not just understanding it, but how I feel it. Okay? To be able to use it as my First Amendment right to do so, to speak on. I didn't take the other one down. It's identical. The only thing I done was change the heading of it a little bit with some emojis, and then I went back in and highlighted the original. And a few of you, I've actually sent you the original, okay? And you all are playing it, but it gave me a URL. But it gave me a copyright strike. Now, how did it give me a copyright strike but give me a URL to where I could go see it and click and highlight the URL to give it to y'all? See how trickery these people work? Manipulate our words in our daily lives? They do not own the copyrights to any of this music. If that's the case, I don't think Ozzy would have the money that he's got right now. Neither would Dee Snider. Peace to all y'all. I ain't going to make this a long one. I'm just going to put this on here real quick because I thought that might be something of importance. My gut told me to do it, so I did it. And I'm hoping y'all go forth with it. I'm sorry, I got my window open over here. It's being the 11th of November, and it's 68 degrees outside and raining. I'm sure it won't be too much longer. Old man Winter will be showing up saying, I'm here. Peace to all y'all. And go forth and be of good cheer. And I hung my prayer in my bedroom where my computer's at. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I can change. Courage to change the things I can. Courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. But have it in y'all's hearts and minds and put a prayer over Trump, a hedge of protection over him and his family and the White Hats. And we're going to be probably seeing the military here soon, because these 13 families in this New World Order, deep state bullshit. I've made this analogy before, and I heard Dave talking about it. He was talking about a 5-year-old and a toy. Take a toy away from a 5-year-old, see what happens. Okay, I always use the sucker method. You let one of them get a good taste of that sucker and that sweetness, then go and try to take it away from them, see what happens. Well, that's our deep state. This is what's going to happen. And I guess if anybody's having an issue right now trying to give somebody a red pill, put them in your court. And what I mean by this is, if you can get them to understand what they're fighting against is taking their rights away from them, as well as them taking the rights away from you. Okay, that puts their so-called skin in the fire as well as ours all together, because that's what's going on by this division. They've not quite figured out they have the same rights we do. Okay, by them fighting against this and upholding the deep state bullshit, they're taking their own rights away from themselves and they can't see it. Peace.